Talofa American Samoa ne asa matangofia o se asa foi o foi mai ele li tātou te whilo o iai lunga tātou prokalama whai pia o le Fale Lalaga o tu whatasia tātou ofisa o le American Samoa Visitors Bureau ia po o le ofisa tātou malo o lo ngafa o tangata ta whao mai atu no mao. Ia o nei fo i la tae au, ia ua iai fo i se tasi o whapoponga tātou prokalama o se tina po se tua fine tu stala foi. E ngā whalawa la i tu singa o tala ai mei se lava ia mata anga i tonu American Samoa. Ua maua foi la lava noa le tātou prokalama nei tae au. E whaatalitali noa i foi le nei tu stala. E le i lewa atu ia po le masina o tilna i atu. Ia sa whapenana whaalawiloa i nei tusi. O tusi nei sa whaalawiloa ina. Ia mai tele foi ofisa le malo sa whesoasoani tu whatasina foi o le whaalawiloa ina tusi. Pe o le ofisa o le Department of Commerce. A me se foi le vaenga le Chamber of Commerce. Ia whapea foi le ofisa o le Samoan Affairs. Ia mal tata ofisa nei o le American Samoa Visitors Bureau. Ia fia lava la le nganga. O maua foi se avanoa e suma i ele tamaitai tistala. Ia e whaalawiloa tua i foi la na ngaluenga. O lewa aso tau sanga foi o whaama popoina. Ia ma talanoa te foi o ia e winga le nei lava ngaluenga. Good morning to our viewers. And this is our regular program, Fale Lalaga, sponsored by the American Samoa Visitors Bureau. Today we have with us an exciting author, and her name is Melinda Clayville, who has put together this work or project or a book called Explore American Samoa. This is like the complete guide to Tutuila, Aunu'u, and Manu'a Islands. I think a month ago we were able to witness the launching of this beautiful book. And we all gathered at DDW and listened to the author share her aspirations about putting this together. How are you this morning?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Well, I've read this book, and I'm sure our audience are anxious as well to get their hands on this book. But let's go back and see if we could extract a story from this. How did you, a Palangi lady who comes from the mainland, how did you start all of this?
Oh, it's a long story. But travel has always been a passion of mine, and even when I haven't been able to travel, I just love going to used bookstores or libraries and picking up travel guides and just learning everything I can about a place, whether I get to go there or not. And so when we moved here about 4 years ago, we came here not knowing anybody. Just my husband got a contract with Department of Commerce, and so we came and just started exploring the island on our own because we didn't have anybody to show us. And so while my husband was at work, I would take the kids and we would start hiking the trails and going to the different beaches around the island. And we just absolutely immediately fell in love with American Samoa, especially Tutuila here where we live. And so at the time I had a blog from before when we were on the mainland, and I was sharing our experiences there on our blog, but I just felt like it didn't have the reach that I wanted it to. And American Samoa is a place that we feel so incredibly blessed to be able to live here and experience this place. And I don't think it's because of the size and the lifestyle here, it's not for everybody. But for people who, like us, who choose to live here and love it here, I thought this is such an incredible place that more people deserve to hear about it. Before we had moved here, we were looking for somewhere to move to, and my husband said, how would you feel about American Samoa? I was like, remind me where that is? And even as we told family and friends where we were moving, nobody really knows about American Samoa. If you're not...
Where in the world is
Yeah, if you're not in a circle with somebody who knows.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? San Diego.
Yeah.
Is
like
your
that.
experience, Melinda, would you say that your experience writing the book is from a tourist perspective, or someone who lived here quite enough to prepare this?
Yeah, I would say it's from the perspective of somebody who is not originally from here and who experienced all these things with an outside perspective. But yeah, like you said, who's been here long enough. I went out of my way to explore every inch of this island and learn about it and learn the history.
You even went to Aunu'u, you went to Manu'a, to Ofu.
Yeah. Oh man, we can't wait to get back out to Manu'a and spend some more time out there. Yeah, we just, everywhere we go, we just fall more in love with this place. So.
I don't know, because, maybe if there were other books before you, while you were doing your project, were there others, secondary sources that you looked into to help you or guide you through this project?
I used other travel guidebooks as an example to outline it and for the layout and that sort of thing. But no, that book is, mostly it's just personal experience and talking to people and doing research for it. That was a huge part of it. Was I went around to the different agencies and to different villages and just talked to the local people there in the village just to get information about.
It's amazing how you cover the village. The villages, even the villages in the north, the villages behind the mountain. So, while reading, I will picture myself on a bus, and it's like, okay, I could follow this. I was reading it, and I'm like, okay, and then we'll go to the western side of and you also cover the villages, the Tutuila, the places where people will go shop, the eateries. And places where people hang out, and there was a lot of balance in how you bring in all of those into the book, and it makes it come alive. You also have your list of the top 5, your own picks of beaches and places to go snorkeling and all of that.
That was nearly impossible to choose my top 5.
Yeah, le fa fonga mai tatu atunu o le tina le sa tu fantasia le nei tusi ia o le tina sa mai America ia o lona to alua sa fainga luenga le ofisa le tatu o le Department of Chambers ia sa mawaile konkarati lona ali ia o le tina la malana fa ia sa tele la vala taimi sa o ai Savavali lunga o hikes ia po trails ia tato ia nei sa tele fo taimi sa o tu Aunu'u ia ma tauta no fo tele ofisa le malo ia mamaua mai ia manatu ia mamaua mai fo ia ni fasoa mai tangata le atunu ia wala va tu fasasina nei tu si awa o te loa ai fo ia tato pamphlets fo po flyers wa uma foi ona sauni el official o turisi ia po officer foi le malo ia ai ese mai foi le nei nga luenga wa sauni el nei tina ia mai talto luenga nga ia o se nga luenga foi mai ona fala wilo atili ele tato atunu American Samoa. Melinda, so this is found on, you could purchase this on Amazon?
As a physical book or as an ebook. And soon it will be in some of our local stores here in American Samoa, in Turtle and Shark, and I'm working with some other ones. Turtle and Shark is the only one I can say so far because it's a for sure deal. But yeah, I'm working with some of the other local shops also, and we'll have it available online as an ebook through some other, like through Apple Books and some of the other sites also.
Ia, o lea foi lau tala no mai le tusi tala. Ia, ia foi staimi o la whapena ona, ma wai le tusi nei I nisi foi o Fale o loa tono tatou Aunu'u. Ia, pe o le Fale o loa lei o le turtle and shark o I tafuna ia pe o ina o se vai nga mua nei tusi o la whapena ona whatauina e lea Fale o loa. Ia, ai me se foi ia le amaua foi le e-book and fai foi ona whaangaina tangata. Ia, ai me se foi tamaiti a onga. Melinda, you know, when we initially talked about this, and I said that your book would be a different set of eyes, you know, for our people, because I think for me personally, somebody who grew up here and lived here all my life, but I have a different perspective of the mountains, of the everyday life, quite different from your perspective.
Right, yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Sure. I think we are all guilty of that. Just treating the place that we're from as just the place that we're from. I did it back in the States, and when we came here, I said, you know, we came here on a 2-year contract, and so I said, okay, we've got 2 years to explore this place and get to know every little bit that we can. And so we were very, very purposeful about hiking every single trail and going to every beach on the island and visiting each village and just taking advantage of the time that we had here available to us. We decided to stay longer, and so we've gotten to enjoy the island more. But I think if you're not intentional with your putting yourself out there and going out and finding the places that it's the place you're from, and you're going to miss a lot.
One of our guests was Mr. Peter Taliva'a, and I think with the local people now taking advantage of those charter boats, you know, the excursion trips that go to the north side of the island, and it goes to Aunu'u, to Asu, to the Pola in Vatia. I mean, you could live here all your life, but like I said, I haven't been to the back of the island to the north shore and all the way to Malotan taking a boat trip. And like you said, and most of us are guilty of that. And I think sometimes we take advantage of what we see every day and with our culture. But it, you know, while I was reading, I said, "Oh my, this is my island," and you know, and I get to appreciate it from your set of eyes, so to speak, when you wrote this. Yeah, o lea fo tala no mai le tusala I le tele maleano no ai o mea matango fie tono tatu Aunu'u o American Samoa po Tutuila. E tele foi o taimie e ngalo ia I tātou ia pe o pasia fo I tātou ai ia le matango fie o tātou lau whanua na mai e le li. E tele foi taimi tātou tele manatu natu ai I le matango fie o tātou si o manga I le matango fie whaanatua o le tātou motu. Ia ai lewa wa su mai fo le tamai tai tusi tala. Ia ma whaailoa mai fo le nei tusi. Le tele male ano no ai o no whaanga matango fie I te tonu o tātou Aunu'u. E ma whai fo I tātou o na oe e asia tu iai pe ta whawhao ai ma bawa ai ai ma tau sisi pea I le whaamatango fie o American Samoa. Melinda, I was just telling our audience that sometimes we take advantage of what we see, but you know, in order for them to experience the beauty of American Samoa, we need to go out and explore, right? I think we like to see it from, you know, from the drone's point of view or from the pictures taken from the drone. But I think to go out there would be a different experience. And I think that's one thing I would like to do. One of the things in my bucket list that I would like to, ever since I read this book. Let's talk about the trails, because I think when we did the launching, you talked about that, the trails that you've been through. How is that being kept, and maintained for tourists or people who want to go out and trek up the mountains?
Yeah, I know that our National Parks Service, they do an excellent job. We just love national parks.
Thank you, National Park.
Absolutely. We even, so we've got our YouTube channel, AmSam Fam, and we did a video of hiking the Manu'a Lava Adventure Trail, and it was pretty overgrown. Now, because of COVID-19 restrictions, I know that national parks haven't been able to get out and do as much work on the trails. But as soon as we posted that video, I got a message from somebody from National Parks, and they said, that's next on our list. We're going to be out there. And they just can't say enough about the National Parks Service people, that they just get out there and they get it done. This hike up to Matafao, I know they just finished cleaning and putting in new ropes and ladders to make it accessible for anybody. It used to be you have to have a very experienced guide to get you up to the top of Matafao, or you could get lost or hurt, but they've made it accessible to anybody who can put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, and more than 24 hours, tele lava le National Park of American Samoa, ia po le pakafasau ni tatu watunu ia alo yela to ofisa au tui pango whaatai atu ai foi le au tau pulenga mai la tau foi o lo whaamaina nei ala sopo po awala foi ia matrails foi o lo whaapena ana ai foi nisi la tunu e fia e o atu e Savavali ai ia maasia foi peo atu foi e fai se whaamalo stino ia maasia si foi teime e manana awai la tau ia whaatai atu ai le tatou pakafasau. Because I think with the park they have guides, right? That if you need a guide to go help you with the trail, you call them, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Ofu, because listening to the launching of the book, and you just fell in love with Ofu. You're an Ofu girl.
Instantly. With all three of them, we went to Ta'u first and stayed in one of the homestays there. This awesome lady, Aseta. And
Aseta, I know Aseta, yeah.
They were so kind and so sweet, good with our kids. They were awesome. I wish we had stayed there longer. We hadn't really heard a lot about Ta'u, and so we decided, stay one night there, and then we'll spend most of our time on Ofu, but I wish that we had spent more time on Ta'u next time. But yeah, Ofu, we went there, and we...
I think within... What is it? 3/4 of the island is national park in Ofu.
Yeah, it's
just amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of. I can't remember the exact amount, but yeah, it's a lot of it is national park. And actually, the trail that we took, the Mount Tumu Trail, it is not technically national park, but they work with the village there to maintain the trail. Which, if you look on my top 5, you might find the Mount Tumu Trail on Ofu in my top 5 for the hikes, and maybe some other parts of the top 5s we did.
So Tumu Mountain Trail is not part of the national park?
It's not technically part of the national park, but that's what I mean, that they still go out and help maintain the trail to make it accessible to everybody. And that is, I think that's probably the best marked trail, and they've got, just little trail markers all the way along up to the top, and the views from the top of that trail are just
you mentioned that.
Unmatched.
And I think with your top 5, you have 3 for Ofu.
I know.
It's like, 3 Oscars for Ofu.
I know.
Yay, Ofu. Yeah, awhapeo whaalongonongo mai ia ta mama tina fo o tatou awhioanga. O Ofu le manua tele, le lawa tau whaafonga ile whaasalonga lava ale tustala. Ia i le top 5, ia e tolu ni mea tā ua o loo whapena ona mānaia ia ma pito i lunga. O mea la ia e tolu o loo walawi loa i tele tato motu le mai ofu. Mea mua o le snorkeling, ia po o le whatuainga au fwoi lele alu i lalo, ia whaile i le mea whamanawa se tulou. Ia o le mea mua lava na le tusi mai tusi tala mana iai ofu o le mea lona lua o le mea le tau o le Aunu'u Ridge ofu overlooking Ofu Reef and all these Manu'a Islands. Ia se o matu atu le tina tusi tala. Ia o le foi tu ai ngā mataanga o le Aunu'u Ridge, ia o le sinana fuanga sili o le mana iai ofu. Ia ma le mea lona tolu le number one ai ofu i le tusi ne ia o le Tumu Mountain Trails. Ia ma lo lava ofu ia o te taitonu o lo whapena ana to anga pe tatou o lo tatou motu i ofu ia e whalau le lei ma whamatanga o fia umanei no fuanga awala ma mataanga e whaipea. I was just telling our Samoan audience about the 3 things that you picked as the top 5, and the snorkeling, the views, and the hikes. Let's talk about the Aunu'u Ridge. What is that in Ofu?
So that is at the top of the Mount Tumu Trail. It is the ridge along Ofu. That from the top you can see, you can basically 360 degree of Ofu, and then you can see Olosenga also, and off,
Ta'u?
just off in the distance is Ta'u also.
Wow.
Yeah. So when we went, it's a pretty good hike, and so we only did it once, but it was a little bit overcast, and so I can imagine on a really clear day, just being able to see all 3 islands of the Manu'a group there, just crystal clear.
And then the other winning part for Ofu is snorkeling.
Yes. So everybody had told us that the snorkeling there in Ofu is just the best in the territory, and we have found places around Tutuila that we've got our favorites around Tutuila, and so we thought, how can it be that much better? But we went to Ofu and we snorkeled there off of Ofu Beach, and it's just another world. The government is putting in, working on the airport for Ofu, and hopefully, when the borders open up, and that's one of the things we also try. We discuss it with the tourism office, is to, people to promote the Manu'a Islands. Yeah.
I know it's a lot of work because of the airlines getting people here to go there, or places for them to stay. I know there are a few lodges there for people to stay.
Yeah.
But there's so much to see and to enjoy in Manu'a.
Yeah.
Besides the fish, fresh fish, the food, and and all of that. Yeah, ole foi la wata no mai tu stala ile manaia foi o Manu'a le awala le tuinga tulanga le o tofu foi le pe ta o le snorkeling. Le whangai le me whamanava se tulo ia e ato e matamata i le amu. What about the coral reef? Have you experienced, have you
so
worked with that? The reef, the coral reef?
Right there off the shore is where we snorkeled, and that's where you really see the differences in the coral. I'm not a scientist, and so I don't know all the details behind this, but they say that there's something about the coral around Ofu specifically, but also just the Manu'a Islands, that it's healthier.
I could vouch for that, because Peter Taliva'a was here, and he does a lot of work with coral, and he said that it's reviving again. It's growing, and it's ever since that tsunami, it was destroyed, and now you can see it. It's coming back, and it's growing, and it's healthy in a way.
Yeah. Where most places in the world, because of climate change, the coral reefs are on the decline. But whatever it is about the Manu'a waters, that
this is besides the book and besides tourism and besides an awful. Let me just ask you this, because I'm curious, and people are listening. Oh, boy, ask her about the ghost stories. Were you ever curious about the ghost stories in Manu'a and the Aitus?
Those. So I didn't include.
I know. I
mentioned that they exist here in the islands, but I didn't include any. Just for me personally, I didn't feel like that. This Explore American Samoa is, like you said, it's my experience and my family's experience, and I felt like the ghost stories, that's not my story to share. Not yet, at least. Maybe it will someday. But yeah, for sure, especially out in Manu'a. People there shared, be careful, or when you're walking through this part, make sure the kids stay quiet, and just some of these, don't go over here at nighttime. And so we followed
and I like that in the book, because you always throw out a line of caution. You ask somebody in the village to you ask somebody if it is safe to go here. Even in Aunu'u, you ask, you put it in the book. Find somebody. You always said, find somebody in the village to go to guide, or ask them if it's safe to go there. So I think that was good in a way, that people don't just wander out there and then they get lost, and if something happens to them.
Right. Yeah. For exploring the island, but also for the water. One of our first weeks here on the island, we went clear out to the east side to Aunu'u and jumped in the ocean, and there's a really strong ava there. And one of my sons and myself got pulled out in the ava, and it was a horrible, awful, terrifying experience. And so ever since, we learned a lot of respect for the ocean that day. We've been in lots of oceans, but the ocean's just a little different here.
And I think you're right. You need to respect it.
Absolutely. It's about safety, and it's about respect.
Malo lava. Ia alo tala no mai fo le tina I le tatou le taua fo le Sami. Ia e fo I taimi pe un tatou lo I Samoa. Ia e le ava fo I le ale masani fo le tangata ia ma fai o le tatafe ia ma I westulanga e fa pena ona fa umatia I fo le soifu o tangata ia pe ale malama fo le tatou ngata I fale matulanga fa pena. Melinda, we're almost done with our program. Where do you see yourself in the next a year or two?
Thank you for making it a year or two. 10? I don't know. I can't answer
let's
that.
not go to 10. A year or two.
A year or two right here?
Oh, good.
We American Samoa is home now. It's where, this is where we have our friends. It's our friends who have become family, and our kids are in school here. And I can't imagine a better place to raise our kids. It's so safe. There's all this natural beauty for us to be out in and exploring. And we just bought a sailboat, so we plan to go around and do some more exploring around the South Pacific. No, but this is home.
Well, this is something that's going to work for us. It's going to promote American Samoa, promote the tourism industry, and it's more personal compared to some of the travel logs that were written about American Samoa. Because I think somebody like you, very personal experience up close and personal, and I think it moves the reader to go through it. And somebody who lives here now, I take my hat off to you for doing all of that. And good luck to you and your family, and I hope you'll stay here forever.
We just might.
Yeah. Paptai, thank you so much, Melinda, for coming. Ia, la tunu ue, ia mai se fo I la tau lo mo mai pia nei whasalama. Po nei prokalame, ia wa whairina fo I tātou Fale Lalaga nei aso. A wane ngalo, o le tele o nei prokalame lo tu sa watu lunga o tātou website, po ni YouTube, ia e te maua le www.americansamoa.travel. Ia e telefo o nisi prokalama lo tu atu ai lunga o tātou Facebook account. Ia e me se fo o tātou website, ia e monga uma lunga ni YouTube. Ia o le nei aso, ia whaamania lava le atua le atunuu, ia e me se fo I fuafuanga le aso. Ia o le tina ana, ia Melinda Clayville, ia o au nei Poe Mageo, tau wha soifua.
Whakatai.